Have you ever set a goal, felt excited, knew that the new path, the new way, your new manifestation would work, you could feel it, you were ready, you could see a new life. And then suddenly, bam, it was just like walking into a glass wall. You didn't know it was even there. Resistance isn't a failure. It's a sign you are stepping out of your old story. And in this video I'll show you why resistance shows up and why it actually means you're on the right track. Why do we feel resistance? It's basically a survival mechanism out of the ancient times. The biological and psychological basis of resistance is safety. Our mind clings to the familiar because it feels safe. And there's good reason for it, at least in the ancient times. Leaving a path you knew could be a decision about life and death. It could mean you're leaving the path and you might be finding a great hunting ground, and it could also leave you might be finding some kind of predator that was going after you. So this mechanism is limiting, but also safe. It feels safe, and in the old ancient times it was safe. So do we have to blame our ancestors for this? Of course not. Don't blame them. And maybe just because of their resistance, and just because of their doubts, and maybe just because of their behavior, you and I are still around here. This enabled our existence, maybe. We are children of survivors, and we should be happy how they acted at these times. But today, well, the world is not that dangerous any longer. And even in the old times, some of our ancestors, some people, even if they felt resistance and doubt, were just stepping out of their comfort zone and wanted to do things differently. And basically this was the foundation of what we have today. And yes, this resistance goes back to our childhood, most of it. To our parents, uncles, aunts, friends, you name it. All those people contributed to your mindset. Remember what we discussed in another video? Sayings like, work is hard, earning money is hard, you don't deserve it, life is a struggle, and so on. Many, or almost all of us, heard those statements, some of us unfortunately over and over again. So no wonder that you think how you think today. The little programs had time to establish themselves, and the little programs with many of us are still around and holding you back, doing what they are supposed to do. Why even trying when you deep down know that you are not worth it? Living the life you would like to live, having the new car, having the perfect relationship, or having millions of dollars? Why even trying? You know deep inside that you are not worth it and that you won't get it. But on the other hand, you might know and you feel that something with this mindset is wrong, that this is not you. And on the other hand, you would like to have the perfect relationship and the big bank account with millions of dollars and all the other things you would like to have. So your beliefs clash with the old programs you acquired in the past. New beliefs against the old ones. But the truth is, you don't need them any longer. Deep down, as I told you before, you feel that they are wrong, holding you back. But even if we sometimes don't have problems to visualize or say affirmations, when it comes to believing, trusting the process, it can be different, and it can cause problems. It can cause resistance, doubt, resistance. But those programs are not you. They are pieces of code, pieces of the mindset of other people. Some of them you liked, some of them you didn't, but it doesn't matter. This is just parts of other people, pieces of the mindset of other people. Parents, relatives, friends. You borrowed them once, but now it's time to return them to them. Resistance is just an elastic band tied to your waist. When you move forward, driven by desire, it stretches, building up resistance and holding you back even more. But if you keep moving, it snaps and breaks through. And yes, resistance and doubt brings us definitely advantages. Doing nothing can be comfortable, feel safe, and over time you can get used to it. Forget about your goals, the life you want to live. Why worrying? Sometimes we don't even consciously notice resistance. It shows up as procrastination, forgetting, losing interest, rationalizing. Like, it wasn't important anyway, why should I do that? Many of us are really good in finding pseudo-rational arguments against actions that could finally lead to their success. This is normal. This is human mind, and this is quite normal. But on the other hand, if you're doing this, you should also be aware, for example, what nurses working in hospices tell us about what their patients said to them in their last days or during the last days when asked what they would have done differently if they could lead their own life again. You know what it is? The number one of their statements, so the statement most of them said was, I wished I had the courage to live my own life. That's really sad, right? Being aware of it in this situation, when you only have a couple of days to live, is too late, definitely. But you and I have a chance. You have the chance to change your life. Did you start already? Maybe after listening to my video about the programs in your subconscious mind that are holding you back? I'll give you the link of this video again here. So what I meant in the title, that it is good to feel resistance, is, first of all, resistance is normal. You don't have to worry that you are not normal. So resistance is normal. This is something we all feel, and this is perfectly normal. There's no reason to worry. But even more important, it means also that you are on a good way. Because you only can feel resistance if you are trying to change your behavior. Otherwise, your subconscious mind wouldn't let you feel resistance, because there would be no reason for feeling resistance. If you're doing the same things over and over again, and every day is like the last day, there will be no resistance for you. So it means you're in a good way. You are trying to change yourself, and you are trying to become the better version of you. You started already with your new life. And this should fill you with joy. And another perk, when you identify the reasons for resistance, you can change it. You can change the mechanism, you can change what is behind, so these little programs. And not only change them, but you can replace them with better ones. Programs that will help you on your journey to become what you really want to be and to live your own life and not the life of other people. Replace old beliefs that are clashing with new ones. That's all. Want to turn resistance into power? Start right now. Identifying the reasons, for example, the reasons for resistance and doubt regarding your manifestations, regarding your success. There can be many reasons, but you can find out. Start right now, today. Just notice where you feel resistance. In the beginning of the day, say to yourself, okay, for this day, I will find out what kind of resistance I will feel during the day. Just notice it, not judging it. Just noticing, just watch and write them down. That's very important, because at the end of the day, you will have a list of all the resistance you felt during this day. So see in what areas the resistance is that is holding you back or making you feel weird. And where your new beliefs bring some clash with old beliefs. Just identify, write it down, identify, write it down, and you will have a list at the end of the day. You can have resistance and doubts against a lot of things. Maybe you have learned not to be lazy, and now sitting there at your desk and just doing nothing else than visualizations and affirmations for some time might give you the feeling that you are lazy in a way. Even if you are not. This is not laziness, this is just working on you. But maybe you just feel this. And so you feel resistance against doing this. Maybe your parents told you that money spoils your character. Maybe they were poor, they had something against rich people. And this spoiling the character, you want to be a good son, a good daughter, and not a kid with a bad and spoiled character. This is not what you wanted to be. So maybe you tend to procrastinate and say, okay, I can do this and that tomorrow also. And you don't want to start actions. Maybe your friend told you that doing this manifestation stuff and also visualizations, affirmations, this is all esoteric nonsense. And this might be the reason for some doubts arising in your mind. And thinking it over, you might come to the conclusion, this your friend could be right. But do you really know why he's saying that? Could be several reasons. Do you know that quite often jealousy is one reason for such statements? Even if your friend doesn't believe in it, what you are doing, he sees a slight chance of you succeeding. And then you would be on another level than he, and this could be a kind of a threat to him. Suddenly he's the one that is not so successful compared against you. There are sometimes some weird mechanisms, and we'll talk about them in a later video also. But jealousy is sometimes a strong factor in relationships and in friendship too. It doesn't mean that it is very obvious in the beginning, but it might be a factor. It could also be that if nobody changes over the time, everything will be perfect. There's no reason for jealousy. But if one person of two friends is changing, it could be the reason for some jealousy arising. Because think of it the other way around. If your friend suddenly becomes wealthy, rich, leads a great life, maybe you also say, oh, why is he having this luck and not myself? And we'll also in another videos talk about why sometimes when you're starting this journey to lead your life, why you sometimes will have to let go some people, some things in your life, just to make room for the new things and the new persons, the new people that will be entering your life. It can happen, it's not necessary that it happens, but it can happen. These are very interesting topics, therefore I will tackle them in a later video. Discussing them all here in this video would make the video too long. In the end, you will come up with your list. Now try to identify the reasons for this resistance, identify them in your old belief systems, and of course some of the reasons will be very obvious. Maybe what your parents told you, fears from what others said. Some reasons might be deep down in your subconscious mind, so you will not find the reasons behind it immediately. And when you feel a resistance like that, just when going to bed, set the intention that your subconscious mind will be telling you what is behind. Will be telling you the reason or the reasons behind this feeling, behind this resistance. This will work most of the time, maybe not in rare exceptions when there are severe traumata, but these cases should be tackled anyway by a specialist. But most of the time you will get the answer you need. And you can ask yourself questions. Why am I feeling this way right now? Or why am I feeling this way in this situation, in this special situation? What did I think? Why did I feel this way? Or you can do it the other way around. Asking yourself, what would I have to do to feel exactly the same way I did in this situation the last day, for example? So if you identify the reason, those pieces of resistance will start to dissolve in many cases, just by dragging them to the light. They cannot hide in the dark any longer. And some of them might not go away so easily, so you have your list and you have the truth behind, and then also go on go on asking questions. For each resistance, for each item on your list, ask the question, is my belief creating this resistance? Is this true? Is this justified? Is this a true belief? Maybe you think, okay, I'm not worthy having a great relationship. Is this true? Maybe you think I am not worthy having a big bank account, having a couple of millions of dollars in my bank account. Is this true? Why would it be true? So, in most cases, you will say no. This process of identifying the backgrounds will help you. Did your parents tell you that money is bad? Were they poor? Were they talking badly about rich people? Did they make bad experiences with rich people? Remember, those beliefs are not you. They are the beliefs of other people. Even if they are your parents, your aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, but it's not you. You don't have to adopt their belief system, even if you like them. This is not something a good son or a daughter has to do, or a good brother or a sister. Adopting the belief systems of other people just maybe to please them or for other reasons, for different reasons. You don't want to live their lives, you want to live your own life. Or do you really want to live the lives your parents have chosen for you? Most of the times, at least, most of my friends would say no. Definitely not. There are lots of parents trying to drag their kids into a certain way and say, okay, this is the best for them. And of course, they really do believe that. They think it's the best for their kids to do this or that, or to have this job or that, in many areas, in many fields. But this is still not you, unless you agree completely and say, oh, that's a great idea, and I will do this. Can also happen, but this seems to be not the rule, but the exception. At least from my experience I have with friends, with other people, with colleagues, and so on. So create your own life, create your own belief system, create your own things you would like to have and you go after. And when you are succeeding creating your life, this is really something you can be proud of. And finally, your parents will be proud of you too. Work on your list. This list is your treasure map. Every spot where resistance shows up points straight to your next breakthrough. Start substituting your beliefs that create resistance to new beliefs that really support you. Beliefs that are good for you, that feel good for you. And another important step is, of course, leave your comfort zone. If action is needed to become the person that you want to be, do it. Start it, even it's just small steps. It's great anyway to start this with small steps you really know you can achieve, and then go on. And know what? You will feel great when you finally started it, and you will feel great when you finally started with action, and when you started to walk little steps towards your goals, and to walk little steps towards living the life you really want to have and you want to live. You will also feel great when you did something you first felt a little bit afraid, you had some fear. You will feel great after doing this. And this will also be very motivating to go on with the process. And finally, finding resistance will feel great, will feel exciting, not just like a homework, something you have to do, some chore you have to do. Now it will feel great. Because you know, every finding on your treasure map, every finding brings you a little step or even a big step towards your goal. Towards your life, the life you want to lead. So this way you turn resistance into power. When I was 6 or 7, I had a collection of coins I saved over time. I like those silvery, shimmering coins in my wallet. It was a special wallet I just had for this little collection over there. And I stored it in a special place. So I was very proud that I saved this money. And one day when my grandma visited us, I presented the coins to her very proudly. And of course, like many kids do. But surprise, she wasn't happy at all seeing me present those coins to her. She was religious. And money was something, well, let's say, something you shouldn't go after that much. And then I think she cited some kind of biblical saying, like, give Caesar what belongs to Caesar, something like this. And also talked about God a little bit and so on. And so in the end, this created some fear, of course, because I thought, well, if God doesn't like it, doesn't like me to have those coins, and doesn't like me to like money and to be proud of collecting a little bit of money, maybe it's not good what I'm doing. So it made me thinking a little bit. But of course, at this age, I wasn't able to identify the mechanisms we talk over in my videos right now. So I was just a little afraid, but on the other hand, I still liked money. So this was a little bit of clash of two beliefs, just as I told you before here. And of course, I was very, very disappointed with it. And since this time, my relationship to money was basically still good, but on the other hand, there was still a little voice coming up in certain situations telling me, oh, well, maybe it's not so good what you are doing. And far later, there was even a little fear, of course, because God is mighty, I thought, and if he doesn't like this, what will he do with me? Maybe he will punish me or will tell me in a strange and weird way that I am on the wrong path, whatsoever. So, of course, years later, I thought this over again, and of course I found this resistance, and I also found out where it came from. And I was also able to change this belief, and I was quite aware, okay, it was just the belief of my grandma. This doesn't mean that I didn't like her any longer. No, not at all. It was her belief, and she was trying to do the best for me, because her belief was that money wasn't that good, and so she was afraid of me going to the wrong path whatsoever. She didn't think, of course, oh, well, I am telling this little guy now a weird story about money and make his life a little harder. This was not what she was thinking. She meant the best for me, and I knew that, and I still know that, even if she is not living any longer. So this is a little example here of belief systems, and also an example of belief systems you have adopted and you have borrowed from somebody else, sometimes borrowed, sometimes it was pushed a little harder. This means this is very, very okay to let it go and give it back to the people that gave it to you, to return it. This has nothing to do with not liking them any longer, but it has to do with liking you. Because if you cannot or don't want to have this belief system any longer, you have to give it back, because you want to live your life and not the life of other people. Everybody has his or her own life, and everybody can live it basically like he or she wants to live it, and you have the same right. So just give it back and don't let it influence the feelings towards the persons giving you this belief system, the feelings towards the persons where these belief systems come from. The one thing has nothing to do with the other. So it worked for me finally. I got rid of this resistance, and so can you. Get rid of your resistances that are holding you back. And most important, start today, even if it's small little steps. In the next video, we'll go deeper into the hidden phase of doubt and how it blocks you, how it can block you. And of course, we'll talk about ways to overcome it. Was this useful for you? Do you have some questions or suggestions what you would like to hear in another video? Put in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions and also to think of making a video that is considering your suggestions also. I wish you success with your work on being the person you really want to be and live the life you desire. Bye for now and see you in the next video.